This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, first and foremost, good afternoon and Happy New Year to everybody. So far, it hasn't turned out to be one, so we'll see. We just got started.
I'm not happy.
But just to brief everybody, thank you so much for joining us today. This is a multi-meeting. We do have the Board of Directors, LRGVDC Board of Directors, General Membership, and the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council Corporation all combined into one today. So we'll move swiftly through each. And so you all are welcome to stay regardless to the end. And so just bear with me. I am going to do roll call. And so this is a roll call of the entire membership of the board, as well as all the membership, general membership. So as I call the jurisdiction, county or city, just say here, including the folks that are online. We do have a couple online that couldn't join us today due to other commitments, but let's get started. First and foremost, Cameron County. Welcome back, Commissioner. Hidalgo County. Here. Willacy County. Here. Now on to the cities. City of Alamo. City of Alton. City of Bayview. City of Brownsville.
Present.
They're online. City of Combs. Donna. Edinburgh. Ed Couch. Elsa. Granjeno. Harlingen.
Present.
City of Hidalgo. Indian Lake. La Feria. La Joya. La Villa. Laguna Vista. Los Fresnos. Los Indios. Lyford. McAllen. Mercedes. Mission. Palm Valley. Palmhurst. Palmview.
Palmview present.
Thank you. Penitas. Far. Port Isabel. Primera. Progreso. Progreso Lakes. Rancho Viejo. Raymondville. Rio Hondo. San Benito. San Juan. San Perlita. Santa Rosa. South Padre Island. Sullivan City. Weslaco. Now we're going to move on to the educational institutions. Donna ISD, Harlingen CISD, McAllen ISD, Mercedes ISD, Monte Alto ISD, PSJA ISD, Rio Hondo, San Benito CISD, South Texas College, Texas State Technical College, Valley View ISD, Weslaco ISD. Moving on to the governmental units. Agua Special Utilities District, Brownsville Navigation District, Brownsville PUB, Cameron County Drainage District number 1, Cameron County Drainage District number 5, Cameron County Irrigation number 2, Delta Lake Irrigation District, Donna Economic Development Council, East Rio Hondo Water Supply Corporation, Economic Development Corporation of Weslaco, El Jardín Water Supply Corporation, Greater Brownsville Incentive Corporation, Harlingen Irrigation District number 1, Harlingen Waterworks Systems, Hidalgo County Water Control and Improvement District number 18, Hidalgo County Irrigation District number 6, Hidalgo County Mud number 1, Hidalgo/Cameron County Irrigation District number 9, Laguna Madre Water District, McAllen Economic Development Corporation, McAllen Public Utilities, Military Highway Water Supply, North Alamo Water Supply, Olmito Water Supply Corporation, Port Isabel San Benito Navigation District, Port Mansfield POB, Port of Harlingen Authority, Rio South Texas Economic Council, Sherryland Water Supply Corporation, United Irrigation District, Valley Mud number 2, Willacy County Navigation District, Workforce Solutions Cameron, moving on to grassroots organizations, Ms. Lupita Martinez Sanchez.
Here, present.
Thank you. UTRGV. Moving on to the members at large, Ms. Ann Cass, Mr. David Panoli, Rene Estrada, Mr. Jim Darling, Chris Gonzalez, Mr. Sergio Contreras, Mr. Tony Chavez.
We have 926. Thank you.
Madam President, we have quorum.
Fantastic. All right, thank you all for bearing with us with that. If we can please stand, and Manny, if you will lead us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we begin this meeting by giving you thanks for the opportunity to gather here today. Merciful God, you remind us in your words that you are always with us and will never leave us. You are the place where we can find refuge, comfort, and peace. Open our ears so we can hear your voice and our hearts to receive your word. Guide us during our discussions here today as we conduct business that will affect the citizens of the Rio Grande Valley. Give us the clarity of mind to act in their best interest and not ours. We pray that this meeting is successful, productive, and blessed. Almighty God, we give you the glory for what we accomplish. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Moving on to item 2, consideration and action to approve the meeting minutes. Is there any amendments to the minutes of item 1 or 2? Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 3, do we have anyone signed up for public comment? Okay, we'll close public comment at this time and move on to item 4, administration.
Yes, ma'am. Before I move on to this, action items, I'd like to take this opportunity. Just if you recall, we just had our state of the COG not too long ago, at the beginning of the month. In that, we did have we solicited for regional awards for regional champions from the region, and so Mr. Javier Dominguez submitted or sent information to all the participants, obviously all the cities, counties, and so it was very diverse, and we did take the opportunity to select at least proportionally by population at least 3 awards for Hidalgo County, 2 for Cameron County, and 1 for Willacy County. During that meeting, the state of the COG on the 9th of this month, we did award the 5 out of the 6 awards to the people that represent regionalism, and our main objective was to bring those folks that we work day in, day out, and so to express our gratitude, sincere gratitude and appreciation for their efforts. And so unfortunately, we had one of the members that could not be here that day, but we're taking this opportunity to present the regional award. And so it's going to be a judge presenting it to the individual that Willacy County selected. So Judge Guerra, I'll pass it over to you. And we can do it on the podium, if you don't mind.
Thank you. Well, first of all, thank you for making the exception and do this for us in Willacy County. I'll tell you that once in a while, there's a person, an individual that comes through as either an employee or an elected official that's exemplary. And that's what this individual is. Liz was an employee of Willacy County for years, and then she moved on to an elected position, and she did great as well. She gained the trust from other local elected officials, and not only that, but more important is she gained the trust of the public. Liz was involved in also as a board member of the appraisal district through the leadership of Agustin Lopez, our chief appraiser. She also sat on the board and was part of building a new building for the appraisal district that has been enjoyed here for the past, I think, 10 years. Nonetheless, Liz was also involved in a small county like ours, one of the big things that happened was the wind turbines. And as a tax collector, obviously, she was very much involved on that, and she helped immensely on being sure that we collected that, and we're enjoying that as well. These are a few things that Liz has been involved. And Liz, I want to thank you through the Rio Grande Valley Development Council. And by the way, she was busy showing her grandkids, showing animals at the San Benito livestock show at that day. Yeah, so she gets involved with different organizations that I'm sure spill over into other counties. But nonetheless, this is the award. Thank you so much, Liz. You want to say something?
Yeah, I'm good. Okay. We're gonna take pictures. And Ms. Bernhardt, like I told the other awardees, this award does not come free. Your duty moving forward is to promote the LRGVDC and everything it does. At least refer people that need our services our way, so we can assist the population of the 3-county area. So thank you and congratulations. Yes. Okay, so the first action item we have under administration is to consideration and action by general membership on the FY 2025 annual report and budget. And so, like I mentioned earlier briefly, the call committee on the annual report and budget met on January the 9th. And again, it was a somewhat hybrid and our very first ever state of the COG. We had it here in this facility. Unfortunately, we had a very limited space to work with. So regardless, we did have room for about 70 folks. And so we filled the room. And so one of the comments that I made that day is that record setting, that was the most people that we've ever had at annual report and budget committee. So usually we have about 5-ish, more or less. This time we had about 70. And obviously it was a combination of folks from all the jurisdictions. And so during that meeting, again, it was made a recommendation And this is the action item that was presented and is being recommended to the general membership for action. Consideration and general membership action on to approve the FY 2025 annual report and budget. The annual report offers the general membership, board of directors, and members of the public a detailed outline of the LRGVDC composition, organizational structure, and programmatic responsibilities. The annual report outlines LRGVDC's 2025 performance goals and the 2025 budget for the current year, as well as productivity outcomes for the previous year of 2024. Thank you for the consideration of this item. Your final recommendations are being presented here before the general membership and the corporation that is meeting today, January 29, 2025. The budget summary, 2025 annual budget is $42,547,325, reflecting an increase of a little bit over 2.3 million from the 2024 budget due to additional funding awards such as RGV 911 District, Federal Transit Administration, and TxDOT, and Health and Human Services. 2025 annual budget does not reflect an increase in membership dues. 2025 fringe benefit rate is 50.09% and reflects a decrease of 0.48% over the 2024 fringe benefit rate of 50.57%. 2025 total budget expenditures indirect is 11.59%, reflecting the state's revised guidance for calculation. Utilizing the revised calculation method, the 2024 indirect rate reflects a decrease of 1.78% from the 2024 amount of 13.37%. As per the Texas Local Government Code, Section 391.0115E, an RPC or Regional Planning Commission may not spend on an amount more than 15% of the commission's total expenditures less capital expenditures and any subcontracts passed through or subgrants. 2025 salary recommendation for staff includes a 3% performance-based salary increase for those employees who have successfully achieved all standards per the annual evaluation process. That concludes my report, and it's presented as a recommendation from the committee that met on the 9th.
All those in favor say aye.
Item number B is consideration and action to adopt annual investment report and accept the quarterly investment. Ms. Crystal Balboa.
Yes, good afternoon. The annual and quarterly report for 2024 was presented in your packet. If there are any questions, this item doesn't require board action.
All those in favor say aye.
The next item is the consideration and action to approve the 2025 Board of Directors meeting schedule. In your packet or on the screen, you will see the 2025. That way you know ahead of time when the dates, when we're meeting. Obviously, with a few exceptions, we don't have a meeting in July and no meeting in December. And we do have the annual elections coming up in May, early May, to present on the 28th of May before this board. So this is the meeting schedule as presented. Requires your approval. Item D, discussion and presentation of the LRGVDC 2025-2030 strategic plan with requests for feedback from the Board of Directors. Mr. Javier Dominguez will be presenting.
Good afternoon, Board of Directors and General Membership. For those of you who may not know, my name is Javier Dominguez, and I serve as the Executive Analyst for the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council. I have the honor of working directly under our Executive Director, Mr. Cruz, as well as having the opportunity to work with all the various programs and organizations associated with the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council and help in each and every way that I can. Needless to say, every day is like baptism by fire, but I wouldn't have it any other way. My main responsibility as executive analyst every year is to update and bring that annual report to you. And now that we had such a great turnout for our State of the COG, that'll be something else I look forward to helping with. And this year just happened to be my first year, the year that we needed to update our 5-year strategic plan. Although the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council, we serve mainly as like a fiscal agent, HR finances for a lot of these programs, so we can't really get into the nitty-gritty about each department, but that's where they come and help us out, and we look at where their goals are for the next 5 years, and we allow them to hopefully come together and we share a platform so that we can show the region how we're committed to continuing to advance and enrich the lives of our residents within this 3-county region. And so I'm here today just to briefly talk to you about this 5-year strategic plan. I did hand out some note cards if you want to write some notes. Primarily, I just want to stress that the stance of the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council isn't project specific, but more of researching ideas, goals that we might want to go forward or work on over the next 5 years, and that's what this plan is for. Not to be confused with the SEDS, that's also being updated. I know we have the Economic Development Advisory Committee, and we have our chair here for that committee. Quite a little bit different, but at the same time, they do kind of help support each other. And I believe Miss Melissa is online. And so without further ado, just wanted to show you a quick example of, I need to turn it on, of this 1, 2, maybe, okay, perfect, right there. So I just wanted to briefly share. I know that there's a long agenda and there's other things that we want probably to talk about today, but we do have rough drafts of our executive summary. So there's going to be 2 documents. It's a short and condensed version, and then there's a more in-depth version that we will be presenting to you for adoption next month. And so these are just some of the strategic priorities and initiatives that we want to research over the next couple of years. Obviously, everyone knows there was a severe undercount for the U.S. Census the last time around, and the LRGVDC did work really hard to work with our Texas Census partners, our U.S. Census partners to help best prepare, but every time we can always learn how to be better for the next time around. So we want to prepare for that census as it comes up. In the past, separate organizations and entities have talked about merging of the metropolitan statistical areas that we have here in the Rio Grande Valley and how that can help boost funding, not only for the MPO, but for criminal justice, homeland security, and as well as I'm sure other entities and programs that receive federal and state funds. We did have this past year also the kickoff of the Regional Mobility Advisory Committee based off of House Bill 71, which was ratified in 2019 during that 88th legislative session, which authorized the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development to create a regional transit authority. So that Regional Mobility Advisory Committee was a product of that. In February of last year, we went to you and we asked how you would like for us to proceed. And so we were given the guidance to create that committee and to research best how we could go about creating a regional transit authority. Also, primarily because we're capped at sales tax and we have to be creative, right? But we're the only metropolitan area in the state of Texas that doesn't have one. So we want to make sure that we're doing the best we can to serve our constituents with public transportation and access to public transportation. And the last one, real briefly, establishing an intelligent transportation system. As many of you are aware, our region is growing. We've heard about the I-69 connector. We've heard about the outer loop. We've heard about the 365 tollway. As we get more and more of these large roadway systems implemented and constructed in our region, we want to talk about how we're going to be communicating and keeping up live data and be able to share that and disperse that to our community and our population. So we were inspired by the Houston TransStar system, which is funded by a combination of the county, the city, the RTA in Houston, and TxDOT. And it's kind of like a big control center, and they're able to, in real time collect that data and share it with all the other regional entities so that if there's an accident or if there's an incident on the road and we need to reallocate, we're only going to get bigger and we're only going to get a little bit more complicated and confusing, right? So again, these are hopes and dreams that we want to accomplish in the near future, but it starts with the first step, right? And so this isn't going to happen tomorrow. It's a marathon, not a race. And so these are just some of the things that we want to start researching so that we can be prepared for tomorrow. And next, I just wanted to give you 2 quick examples. For all of our programs here at the LRGVDC and the executive summary, we have like a 1-pager on their goals and their vision statements. If you want, I can't speak as good on their behalf as their directors and assistant directors, but I just wanted to show what that would look like. And then for the full document, the main difference will be we will have strategies for each of the goals on how we can accomplish that. So that's going to be the main difference. And I felt like I spoke a lot and I spoke really fast. I do apologize, but at this point, I'm ready for any questions, comments, or any feedback. If you don't have anything now, feel free to leave something on the card, drop it off for us later today, or email us. I provided my email as well as Mr. Cruz's email so that you can provide your feedback at another time.
And just know that these goals are broad in nature, and that's for a reason, because we don't want to prioritize any of the goals to limit, cities or jurisdictions to apply for a certain, priority. It's just open in general. And so that's the way it's been historically. That way we can be able to provide that for the jurisdictions. And in conjunction with our SEDS plan as well, it complements, either the two. And so that's going to be another action item that's going to be presented next month, I believe, in March, the SEDS plan. So that's going to be presented by all means. If you have any input, please let us know. If you're satisfied with the goals and objectives listed, we can move forward and produce the final document. But we'll be contacting you, try to get input as well as other stakeholders throughout the region.
Yes, and if I may just briefly, I just wanted to add that we're coming to you because there might be something we're not thinking of or we might not know, and that's where you all, subject matter experts, can provide that input for us so that we can include it in the document. I know in years past, they would go to this document, even though it's for 5 years, they would go back and touch and maybe update it every 2 years. So that's something we can do as well, and promise that in 2 years' time, we can look to see if this is working or if we need to update it as well.
I would just say on some of the strategic initiatives, I know February, I think it's 18th through the 20th, the RGV partnership is doing
There you go. See, the RGVD partnership is doing RGV at the Capitol, and I know Daniel's finalizing the regional legislative priorities. I mean, they align perfectly, so it should mirror the same, the first 4 you shared. Yeah.
Duly noted. Thank you.
And I think in addition to the postcards, we can email any suggestions. So if you want to kind of read over it and suggestions, thoughtful and more
There you go.
laid out, probably better than this is great. But
Sorry.
everyone heard me, yes.
Yes.
And so this is a digital age, and so those of us that aren't prepared to really put this down on the postcard right now, I think it would be great to have the opportunity to also email. I don't know if you want to put a deadline on that, so that way people kind of will go back and review it and provide any suggestions, inputs, or just say, things are great the way it is. Whatever that feedback is there a certain timeline or that you would prefer to have that information?
Well, the great thing is that there's no federal guideline. This is something that we're doing on our own, so we want to make sure we're including everybody. We wanted to bring it back to February, so I was initially going to suggest maybe giving another week or 2 weeks so that we can make sure to get it on time, to get it on the agenda for next month's meeting. But also, we already have the digital copy, so I can make sure that a digital copy gets emailed out to everybody so that you can see it at your own pace and time.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so 2 weeks from now.
Yes, please and thank you.
All right. Is there any other discussion? Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item is item E, Executive Director's Report. First and foremost, want to introduce new staff that came on board. First, we have Mr. Rolando Perez. He joined the Regional Police Academy. He is an instructor. He might look familiar, but he used to be a peace officer and for the Mission Police Department a long time. So a veteran, and so we were fortunate enough to open up the position, and he applied. We hired him. So and then a new addition to the administrative team, we do have Mr. Gabriel Navarro. He's our new HR Assistant Director. This was his first week, trial by fire, and so used to be with our public safety, Homeland Security department. Previously, comes from or worked for the city of Westlaco for HR, and before that, he was with our HR department. So, like I told him, it's not always greener on the other side. So, came back. And the next item that I have is updates on regional news, funding opportunities, training, and legislation issues items. So I did provide in advance a director's report, and so I'm not going to go in detail. Just know that this 87 legislative session they're focusing on water. That's the big topic of discussion nowadays. And so in addition to that, there's other some funding opportunities that popped up through Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, 10.9 million in grant funding. And then under public safety, we have about over 500 million in grant funding that's that'll become available. And then obviously the schedule of the 89th legislative session, January 14, convene, March 14, file uh, bill filing deadline, and June 2nd is the last day for the 89th legislative session. So the next topic that probably everybody already knows, the president released some executive orders yesterday, or actually Monday, preparing it for Monday night, and they came to us yesterday. Luckily, we're fortunate enough to be members of various associations like the NATO National Association of Development Organizations, the NARC National Association of Regional Councils, and obviously our Texas partners, the Texas Association of Regional Councils. And so as you know, the president's orders was to provide to the Office of Management and Budget to issue memorandums. They issued them on Monday evening, directing federal agencies to place temporary pause on funding or federal funding assistance, i.e. grants, loans, cooperative agreements. The pause took place yesterday at 5 o'clock. And so subsequent to that, as you know, a judge put a block on the president's executive order to be effective until February 3rd. And so the OMB memorandum requires federal agencies to evaluate all federal financial assistance programs and their alignment with the president's agenda. And so all federal agencies must report no later than February the 10th and provide a detailed report.
Manny, hate to interrupt you, but that's been rescinded.
Just within the next, I mean, the last
10
few minutes.
I was
Okay?
going to say, because Mammy and I talked just about an hour ago,
Yeah.
and now,
Yeah.
It's been
okay,
rescinded.
Yeah,
okay,
OMB sent out a revised that order's been rescinded.
Okay. Well, there you go.
So
It does say to contact your agency general counsel if you have questions.
And so, and I'll just end it there, but just wanted to bring this up to your attention, like Mayor Sepulveda and I discussed. It affects the COG because we receive about 43% in federal funding and another 35% in state that's passed through the federal government. And so, how does that affect us? Well, we have transportation funded through FTA, and we also have our area agency on aging through HHS. Some of it is passed through from the federal government, but that hits home because it provides services to such as Meals on Wheels, and we provide funding to community centers throughout the region. We receive about 9 or 10 million in funding under HHS for AAA, Area Agency on Aging, and so that's how we're affected. But that's the federal government, but Texas, obviously, we have to wait and see what the plan is for Texas under the governor. I know he's having the state of the Texas award or briefing, and so we'll know further down the line what changes are going to be implemented. I know we received some information, as you already might know, that there's some changes that the Texas House Committee has done, realigned and pretty much abolished some of the existing committees, and merged other committees. For example, Veterans Affairs is now under Public Safety. It used to be a standalone entity or committee. Now it's under that umbrella. There's various other committees that were stood up, revised, or done away with. But as I receive information, I know I've been keeping the executive committee aware of the situation. And if you all want to receive the emails, I'll forward them as well as information becomes available. That way you can be, but it's everywhere. I mean, it's just redundant information. And so sometimes the news media picks it up before we do. And so but I'll be glad to forward any information on latest information that comes out by both the state and federal government. But we do have various grant funding, like I mentioned, FTA, EDA, HHSC, CDBG grants that are funded through some of the cities, TxDOT, Office of the Governor, TCEQ, under the state as well, various pass-through grant funds that we have. And so thank you for the update. That helped me not talk too long. So.
Much appreciated. I think what we've learned here are the unintended consequences of just the stroke of a the stroke of a pen can really impact many people, organizations, and human beings. But luckily, thank you to our Commissioner Garza. Thank you for joining us, and Ron, and giving us that update. I think that helps a lot and eases a lot of anxiety and stress. But moving on to item 5, department reports, community economic development. Ms. Gonzalez.
Good afternoon, everybody. As you can see, I'm actually virtually, because it is the water topic. As Manny said, it's the most important topic in Texas. So we are at the Save State of Water Conference in Austin. Today, I've got 2 agenda items. The first one is consideration and action to approve our regional small
If you can just speak up a little bit closer to your microphone.
Okay, can you hear me better? Is that better, Mayor? Can you hear me better? No?
Yes.
Yes?
There.
Okay. My first item is consideration and action to approve the Regional Small Cities Coalition election of officers for 2025. We held our meeting on January 14th, and the recommendation is following. The chairperson would be Selena Gonzalez from the city of Primera. The vice chair would be Mayor Jose Solis with the city of Lyford. And then the secretary would be Mayor Alma Salinas from the city of Sullivan. If there's no questions, I'd ask for a motion to approve as presented.
We have a motion? All right.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. My second agenda item is consideration and action to approve the Road to Recycling Tire Disposal Services RFP awards. We actually had 2 organizations apply and bid for this contract, and we are recommending to have both of the bids accepted. One of them from Republic Services and the other one from UTW. Working collectively together with both of these entities, we're working to ensure that all the tires collected in our April tire event do not make it to our landfill. That's our goal. Our goal is to try to chip down these tires into mulch and then have UTW be creative in what they do and try to reduce the amount of footprint that we get at the landfills. The tire event was scheduled for April 2025. We will be reaching out to the cities and counties to see who wants to participate, and I will have more information about that event in our next meeting in February. So if there's any questions, I'd love approval to award these 2 bids for the tire event.
There's no discussion. Is there a motion to approve? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right. Thank you. I think we have all the reports in our packet.
Yes, and the only 2 announcements I have, Mayor, is, of course, the tire event that we're scheduling for April 2025. Again, we'll be reaching out to cities and counties to see who want to participate, and more information will be available for February 2025 meeting. And then our SEDS updates, our goal is to present to our EDAC in February at the end of the month to get the draft, to get it approved by them, to get it approved by our board in March 2025. Those are the only 2 announcements. And if you have any questions on our report, I'm here to answer anything that y'all may have.
In the reports that were in the packet, is there any discussion or questions? Well, then, thank you. We'll let you get back to it. Thank you so much.
All right. And thank you, Mayor. With your permission, I'd like to log off so we can hit the road home.
Understood. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on, Ms. Lopez, item B, Health and Human Services.
Good afternoon, everyone, and once again, thank you for your time. I did submit our status report for the first quarter of fiscal year 2025. The information there is covering the services provided from October through December of 2024. In addition to that, I do have one action for your consideration. Consideration and action to approve the following membership applications for the Citizen Advisory Council. The council requests your approval for the appointments of the following individuals. Rosalinda Martinez for Cameron County under the category of 60 years of age or above. Carmen Nordyke for Cameron County under the other category. Carmen works for a medical coverage insurance company and she represents older individuals. Ms. Alice Cobos for Hidalgo County under the other category. Ms. Alice Cobos works for a kidney care and dialysis agency representing the needs of older individuals. Eliodora Flores for Hidalgo County under the category of 60 years of age or older, and Belinda Olivo for Cameron County under the other category. Ms. Belinda Olivo works for Star Health Insurance. She represents supportive services, leadership, and older individual needs. All appointments will span a duration of 3 years as per the Citizen Advisory Council Rules of Function, Article 5, Membership, Section 4.
I don't see those in there. Okay, we have a motion to approve, second by Sullivan City. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. If you have any questions regarding the report, I can answer those now. If not, that concludes my report today. Thank you.
Moving on.
Moving on, public safety, under public safety, criminal justice and homeland security, Mr. Cesar Merla, the status reports are in your packet. And moving on to the Police Academy program, Mr. Javier Solis, he's online. He's a little bit under the weather, so it'd be best to keep him online until he recovers. So he'll be presenting his action item. Mr. Solis, proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Cruz. Good afternoon, Madam President and esteemed Executive Board. I apologize for not being able to be there in person. I'm battling this bug, and I thought it would be best to stay away to avoid anyone getting sick. I do have 3 action items today for your consideration. My first action item is consideration and action to approve a resolution for fiscal years 2025 and 2027 for the LRGV Regional Law Enforcement Academy project. We are currently seeking funding for the upcoming fiscal years, and a filing of a resolution is required to satisfy the requirements established under the project's grant. So we ask for your consideration and action for approval.
Is there any discussion? Entertain a motion to approve. Right. Second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you all very much. Number 2, consideration and action to approve an interlocal agreement between the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council and the County of Hidalgo, Texas, for the purposes of reporting training hours to TCOL for Texas peace officers attending the South Texas All Hazard Conference, and with the authority for LRGVDC Executive Director Manuel Cruz to sign and finalize the agreement.
Are there any questions? Is there a motion? All right. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. And my last one is consideration and action to approve an interlocal agreement between the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council and the City of Rio Grande City, Texas, for the purposes of utilizing the Rio Grande City Municipal Airport as a training site for the LRGV Academy Basic Peace Officer course, and with the authority for LRGVDC Executive Director Manuel Cruz to sign and finalize the agreement.
All right. Second. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Those are your action items. Thank you. Hope you start to feel better.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. As far as my department reports, Madam Mayor, I just like to announce that on Friday, January 3rd, we commenced our mission 228th Academy. We currently have 25 cadets enrolled. On Monday, January the 6th, we graduated 18 out of 20 cadets from our Edinburgh Police Academy. We are finalizing the first ever Starr County Police Academy. We are holding testing right now with the Rio Grande City Police Department to prepare and commence that historic first ever academy in Starr County. My reports are in your packet, and if anyone has any questions, I'm always available.
Thank you.
Thank you also very much. With your permission, I would like to be excused.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful afternoon.
The next item is Rio Grande Valley Emergency Communication District to provide a brief report.
Good afternoon, board. No action items, just going to do a quick update. We've been hosting our RGV 911 website for the past 2024 year. We have about 64,000 hits and page views. We like to contribute that success to our tickets that we do. Our GIS team has done over 20,000 tickets and updates on address points, updates, created roads, and updated roads. So this is something that we're kind of pushing onto our ticketing system. In addition, I'm going to move on to our IT department. We've already conducted about 33 PSAPs audits. We also review our generators out there at the 911 centers. Then we have maintained those as well. We'll be introducing 2 classes that we'll be sending out to your all's dispatchers. That's including an active shooter training for the dispatcher, how to manage those calls, how to alleviate that multiple calls when an active shooter incident does happen, and crisis negotiation training for the dispatcher. Again, these are trainings that we're going to be pushing out through our office, and these are highly coveted trainings that were requested by our PSAPs. In addition, I'm going to give you a quick summary of our 2024 outlook. In our call volume, we had nearly about 500,000 emergency calls just for the 2024 year. So that's a great success. In that uptick of calls, a downtick of calls, because we saw about 20,000 less, we're seeing an uptick in texting. I want to make sure I use this platform to let you all know that texting 911 is available. You just type in 911 and begin your texting, the same as a call. So we saw a 33% increase this year. So now that we're noticing a lot of now the texting is a new feature that folks are starting to utilize. Victims of crime, we're noticing and have an uptick of that. So please use us. If we need to go out to your all cities to advertise texting to 911, it does save lives. Use us as a platform to advertise that. I know we have cities like Granjero, Sullivan City that advertise that text to 911, and by all means use us to push that platform, because we are having video coming in for our region along with text translation. So if you get the word out there, that allows us to make sure we save lives for our region. So please use us. Get in contact with me. We'll be glad. And the team that helps support that will be our next report, which is our community engagement. They've been out there in force. Just in the past the past quarterly, we attended about 5 events, but in totality, they have attended about 89 events throughout the year. So that's a little bit more than 1 event a week that our team is doing. And it's a small team, by the way, at 2. So we're looking to grow that, but help us help you and your residents to know about the resources that are available to you all. And if you guys have any questions, I'm available to answer them. So thank you.
Thank you. Or text him. Yeah.
Next item is Transportation Valley Metro, Mr. Tom Logan.
Good afternoon. We do have 2 action items. Our first action item is consideration and action to approve acquisition of a vehicle under the state-approved grant for the LRGVDC Valley Metro. This vehicle is fully equipped, and it's we're going to try to acquire it through a state contract. $260,000. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. That was Mayor Darling. I know we didn't catch you on the on your speaker there, but Mayor Darling, motion to approve, and we have a second from Sullivan City. All those in favor, say aye. Opposed? Motion
you.
carries.
I do want to add that there's a medium-sized bus. A heavy-duty bus is over $650,000. So
And for the record, I share Mayor Darling's concerns and reluctance in the figure, but it is inflation, and those are the costs.
indeed.
Hence, the Regional Transit Authority designation
Yes.
would come in handy.
Correct. Priorities.
Before you start regional transit authority discussions, you need to leave the bridges out. Or they're gonna kill it again, so just a little warning.
Thank you.
Not for me, but I'm just letting you know.
Our second action item, discussion and action on approval of resolution number 2025-01, authorizing adoption of the Hidalgo County Active Transportation and Active Tourism Plan. Here with us is Mr. Julian from Hafen Associates to give us a brief presentation on.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julian Salsporus, and on behalf of HAF and B2Z Engineering and Tool Design Group, we are pleased to present the Hidalgo County Active Transportation and Active Plan. That's a mouthful. I like in the agenda packet it says Active Plan. First, I want to share how incredible this experience has been for us to work in this region over the past year. From the warm, welcoming people who have generously shared their insights and ideas, to the rich culture and incredible food that truly makes South Texas what it is. And of course, the breathtaking landscapes of Hidalgo County make it so unique. This experience for us has been nothing short of insightful, inspiring for us. Through community involvement and the expertise of a dedicated steering committee and a 278-mile network of trails has been proposed to connect communities across Hidalgo County. The plan lays out design guidelines, recommended amenities, signage, and funding strategies to support and expand the network. It also highlights opportunities for active tourism throughout Hidalgo County, including trail-based recreation and birding activities. To ensure successful implementation, the plan outlines specific responsibilities for local and regional entities and features a 5-year action plan to achieve the set goals. Ultimately, this plan aims to enhance community connectivity, promote active and healthy lifestyles, and boost tourism in Hidalgo County. We are so excited to bring this plan forward for your consideration and adoption. It reflects the passion and dedication of the community members, local leaders, and stakeholders who believe in building healthier and more connected communities. We look forward to continuing our partnership with Hidalgo County, the Lower Rio Grande Valley Development Council, and all the neighboring communities within the county. We cannot wait to share this, see this vision turn into reality for you guys. Thank you. I also have Ilda Capricioso online with us as well, who is on our team. She's a project manager for this project. I'm just really excited for you guys to get to work. So we're here for questions or anything.
Any questions, discussion?
And again, Madam President, if I may, I can't thank Hidalgo County Commissioners Court enough because they were willing to step forward and fund the plan. It'll be reimbursed, Commissioner, so don't worry. So we'll get you back the money. So it's for Hidalgo County, and again, it complements existing plans already in Cameron County. And so it's interlink both plans together. So another great resource, not only for our region, but also to provide justification when you apply for funding or try to improve your hike and bike trails expansions and so forth. So and also plays into the tourism component, attracts more people to the region when you have already identified jewels in the region so they can go to. So
fantastic.
Ron, did you have?
That's what you covered. What I was going to ask. So yeah. I do want to say, and this is probably more of an MPO thing, but those, I don't know if this could be looked at as kind of an incentive, but those cities that adopt this and then potentially have their own active plan that filters into this, potentially being a points qualifier for when they apply for Cat 7, I think it's Cat 7 for, yeah, Cat 7 funding. But obviously if you're going to apply for projects in this category, you should have adopted and support the plans that are in the region, right? So something to consider.
That is going to be our plan, is to obviously first and foremost present it before Commissioners Court at a later date, and then go to each city personally and get on the agenda so they can adopt the resolution.
Yeah, Emma's not here, but I agree with what Ron is saying as far as like, you got to be ready. You got to be ready for when these grant monies show up. A lot of it requires just a little bit of planning and organization and making sure you have secured some right of way so that you can start, applying for these grants. Usually there's anywhere from $4 to $9 million available on a yearly basis that is available. So it's obviously a competition between usually Hidalgo County and Cameron County. But those types of projects help put in the infrastructure necessary for this kind of alternative mobility, and certainly an active lifestyle, and certainly health and wellness are more important since COVID came out in 2020. So encourage everybody to do some active planning, because you never know when these types of funding opportunities become available, but you got to be ready when those things show up. So I agree and echo what Ron is saying there. Thank you for your work on this plan.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a great project, because when you have shovel-ready projects, as Commissioner Fuentes knows, it's a lot easier to sell those versus they make the announcement and you start the planning process. You have shovel-ready projects to go, and I know that the city of Harlingen, Brownsville, and the county have had much success with being able to have some of those pre-prepared for the funding. So, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. If I may, I just wanted to commend you for all your work. And you're right, we need to have shovel-ready projects. I personally had a podcast because Sullivan City is a small city, and I always say we have a huge heart. If you see Google Maps, you can actually see like an actual heart, but they're actually trails. They're trails to people that love to run in marathons, and we actually have world champions that have trained behind that city hall on those, what I call the heart of Sullivan. But they're actually trails. So I had Basilio Mendoza have a podcast with me, because being a small city, you look at the resources and what is it that you can attract people to come visit. But we have those beautiful trails that I claim the heart of Sullivan. And having this and being proactive is definitely what we want to do. So I commend you for your work. We were definitely, as a small city, going to take advantage of your work. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Just one other comment. When you do show up with resolutions in the small cities, please don't show up with a resolution having them agree to a resolution and giving you money or asking for money, because that's the biggest turnoff that happened in our area. Get the support, get the buy-in, let the small cities see what can be done with their investments, and then they can on their own come up with money. But don't show up asking for money right away, because it kills it.
You know what, Commissioner, that's a good point. And just keep in mind that a lot of times your participation can just be effort. Putting forth some of your manpower, your equipment, in-kind contributions that will help. That's already incorporated into your budget anyway. So consider that as part of your participation in that 25%, 20%, whatever it ends up being. But a lot of people get turned off because they feel like they got to show up with $1 million or 800,000. You don't have to do that. It's already incorporated into your budget. Just make it work somehow, or partner up with the county, partner up with a neighboring city, and see if you guys can join forces to some way qualify for that participation. Because don't let that be a factor in you not applying for these funding opportunities.
Awesome. All great points. Is there any other discussion, questions? No, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We do have an action item here, though. All right. Second by Sullivan City. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. And our report is attached to the package. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up is the Rio Grande Valley MPO status report. I'm not sure if they're online, Felipe, or no? They're not, but they, as you know, they have an open solicitation for projects, about 1.9 million. So they have already sent out the emails, and that's for studies, regional in nature. And so I highly encourage you all to apply. We are going to apply. So just FYI, for a couple of feasibility studies, one for the RTA and the other one to transit-oriented development for 27 acres down the road. And so hopefully, just FYI, if you're on the MPO.
All right. Any new or unfinished business? Anyone have anything to share? No.
I do, Madam President. As you were privy to, or after during our State of the City address, we presented some service awards to a couple of our obviously, members. So unfortunately, we did have one of our finance executive assistant, my executive assistant, Ms. Debbie Morales, did pass away. Unfortunate situation there that happened. We didn't find out till that afternoon once the State of the City concluded. And so that's when we were contacted by the relatives, and she had indeed passed away. They did have last week or this past weekend a service for her. Staff attended, and so she's going to be greatly missed. Again, like I mentioned, at the State of the City, she was the glue that kept everything together. Her immaculate filing system is there. Anybody starting, Lisa started, and she just picked up where she left off. Debbie was with us for 21 years of her life. I don't know what attracts people to work at the COG, but I think it's a very diverse organization, unique organization. And so the people that are here for years and years, like Debbie was, are I can't say enough. They're special people because the COG really doesn't pay much because it's a not-for-profit or local government entity. And so for her to stay here for that long, she did an awesome job, and she started from the bottom. I think she was in transit first and foremost. Started as a temporary staff, and obviously worked her way up. Was under the great Ken Jones. That's where she started, and Ron came on board. Worked for him for 5 years or so, and then I took on in 2020. But unfortunately, she did pass away, and we're saddened by that. So just wanted to make everybody aware.
Definitely condolences to her family. And I do want to thank everyone for also taking the time to be here at the State of the COG. Manny and your staff did an amazing job. Lunch was great. We know now how to fill the room is provide good food and not box lunches. So thank you so much. And then I don't know, other cities, communities are participating in the going into, I know Commissioner Fuentes and others have expressed health and wellness as a priority, especially in our communities post-COVID and the prevalence of diabetes and things like that in our communities. But the RGV Challenge started. It's open to all communities. I know Edinburgh does a really good job in promoting that, and so does Brownsville. In Cameron, Harlingen's participating, and it's open to all communities. Lots of free resources through Salud 50, and lots of gyms providing free memberships or classes, and businesses participating. So I encourage everybody to share that with your communities and your network, so that way we can focus on what we can do to really promote health and wellness and keeping everybody healthy in our communities, especially right now with the flu and COVID kind of still on the rise. And that is all we have. We're going to stop talking because it's been a long meeting. We thank you so much. Our next meeting is when, Manny? February 26th. All right. And so we are adjourned. Have a wonderful day.